Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain. Today we're going to talk about what are the generations X to Z. We want to know what they're investing in and what are their strategies moving forward, not only for the end of 2024, but over these next several years. What are some of the investment tools that they're looking at when it comes to investing in digital assets and elsewhere? First off, as usual, let's go ahead and start with the cryptocurrency market update. You can see Bitcoin is currently trading at $62,600, still in that $60-ish thousand range. We still see it vacillating basically between between 58,000 and 66,000 pretty much for the last several months. Once we hit up around 68 or 66,000 or so, you see us start to pull back and head back towards 60, sometimes breaching 60 and then coming right back up into the $60,000 range. So we'll see how things are looking over the next couple of weeks. A lot of people still believe that the beginning of this quarter will begin positively, even though we have had a bit of a drawdown over the first week and a half or so of this month. You can see Ethereum is trading at 2,400. BNB trading at 570, Solana nearing that 150 mark again, currently at $147. Pretty much flat for the past 7 days. XRP at 52 cents, nearly 53 cents, down 1% over the past week. Dogecoin still in that 10 to 11 cent area. Tron still in the top 10, currently trading at 16 cents. It's actually up 5% over the past week. We have Toncoin at number 10, and Cardano has been knocked out of the top 10 once again, and it is currently trading at around 35 cents, trading at the 11th spot on the cryptocurrency market cap list. Now, if we look at what generations are investing into nowadays, you can see that the baby boomers, and this is a survey that was conducted by a group called Policy Genius. Obviously, a lot of these surveys and a lot of data points you'll find varying across various surveyors, as well as newspapers and news outlets and things of that nature. So you have to take all of this with a grain of salt, but at least you get a general idea of how people are investing. So you can see here that cryptocurrency ownership by age group in adult Americans, you can see that the baby boomers, about 5% of them are interested or have invested in cryptocurrency. You can see they're at about 5%. Gen Xers at about 10%. Millennials, they're the highest at around 22%. So a lot of the millennials at this point are now in their early 40s. And you can see here from 27 to 42. So there's some of them that are in their 30s, early 40s, in that, working age where they're really starting to get their career going. And so a lot of them are interested in investing and considering digital assets as another alternative to some of the old school assets that investors in the Gen X and baby boomer generation typically invested in, and we'll get into that in a second a little bit more. You can see also that Gen Zers are starting to invest, and they're only just starting to reach adulthood, and they are about 20% with crypto ownership. So you can see that the younger generations are definitely more interested in digital assets and cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin. And a lot of them turn to social media when they're asking about different financial questions. Now, obviously, as we know, you have to take everything that you read with a grain of salt and make sure that you back up the data that you're getting, not only particularly on social media sites, but even sometimes news outlets and even the major news outlets can make mistakes. So you want to make sure that you follow up and get a second, third, fourth data set to make sure that what you're reading and what you're learning about is true data. Particularly now with artificial intelligence, things are going to get a lot more difficult to understand what is the truth and what isn't, particularly when it comes to investable assets. So you want to be very careful when you're doing your research before you put any of your hard-earned money into cryptocurrencies or any type of investment vehicle. But as you can see here, the younger generations are definitely choosing crypto over stocks and real estate. So if you look at the median home prices for real estate over the past, let's say, 60 years or so, you can see that the median home price continues to go up and to the right. It is now costing over $400,000 to be able to pay for a median price home in the United States. So we're starting to see that some of these millennials are looking to find alternatives because, yes, when you own a home, generally it appreciates over time, but the issue is that are you going to get the higher rate of return that you can get with digital assets, with Bitcoin and with stocks and and gold and some of the other investable products that are out there on the market. Now, because of the fact that it's getting more and more difficult to own a home and to purchase a home, not everybody has $400,000 or has the ability to get a mortgage for $400,000. So what they're looking at is other ways to find a return on their investment. So a lot of them are looking to Bitcoin as the new real estate. And if you listen to Michael Saylor, who's the founder of MicroStrategy, and we'll mention them a little bit later, but he believes that Bitcoin is new real estate, but it's basically digital real estate. He actually equates it and says it's akin to buying New York real estate in the early days. So if you bought New York real estate, whether it was 1900, whether it was 1930, whether it was 1980, no matter when you bought it, you still were happy with what the outcome has come out to be later on down the line, particularly now when you look at how expensive New York real estate is now. So he views Bitcoin to be similar to that, in that this is the new real estate. So you can see that a lot of millennials are looking at it as a way to increase their net worth. And because of the fact that it becomes more and more difficult to buy real estate, and there's obviously a lot of other fees and taxes and other costs that come with owning real estate, many believe that it's better to go ahead and try to put their money into digital assets like Bitcoin, because you don't have all those extra costs. You basically just have taxes, but the only time you would have taxes is if you actually trade it. So if you buy and hold, you can see that money appreciate, and eventually down the line, people are working on and companies are working on having the opportunity to leverage Bitcoin, just like you're able to leverage your home to get a home equity line of credit. You'll be able to do the same thing with Bitcoin, be able to borrow fiat currency, leveraging your Bitcoin ownership. So you can see here that some of the investment allocations when it comes to the Gen Zers and millennials, you can see here that the age range from 21 to 43, which is that millennial age group currently, that a lot of them have 28% in stocks, so they are investing in equities, but they also have around 14% in crypto. So you can see the numbers are a little bit different than what we saw on the other page, and then other alternative assets at 17%. So you can see that they're looking to buy what you see here as virtual real estate. It presents a unique opportunity for young investors because of the fact that it's a finite supply. Remember, it's capped at 21 million Bitcoin, and that is rare than most real estate options. When you look at there only being 21 million in the entire world, and it's open to the entire world. Real estate around the world is not open to everyone. Not everyone can buy real estate in any country around the world, but with Bitcoin, you can buy it wherever you're from. No matter where you're from, you're able to buy that. So that also presents another positive when it comes to having the opportunity to use your funds to invest in something like Bitcoin. So you can see here that boomers, Gen X, and those from developed countries are more likely to hold longer, and if they do actually invest in Bitcoin. So you can see here that the older generations, if they do actually end up buying and investing in Bitcoin, that they tend to hold on to that asset a little bit longer. So time obviously will tell us whether or not Gen Z and whether the millennials will buy and hold. Obviously, that is going to take some time before we see what they end up doing and see how well Bitcoin does when you look at the comparison between that and buying real estate. And also, when we look at who is accumulating and continues to accumulate Bitcoin, as we go back to Bitcoin treasuries that we have in the past, you can see that MicroStrategy, of course, is still at number one as a public company holding over $250,000. But we've seen that Similar Scientific is an American company that has been applying the MicroStrategy strategy. They have bought more Bitcoin, as well as MetaPlanet, which is another company out of Asia. They have also decided to go with a Bitcoin accumulation strategy as well. So more public companies are buying Bitcoin as we speak, no matter what the price is, even at 60,000. Obviously, a lot of them believe that it's going to be much higher in the next several years. And so also we wanted to get into the US government and what they could potentially be doing, because there's a possibility they may be selling some of the 203,000 Bitcoin that they have here. So recently, this past week, a US Supreme Court declined a case concerning the ownership of 69,370 Bitcoin, which is currently around over $4 billion that the government had seized from the dark web marketplace Silk Road. The founder is currently in prison, serving I think multiple life sentences, but I believe at least a life sentence. And Silk Road was known as one of the first marketplaces to accept Bitcoin, but a lot of the goods on Silk Road were illegal, so it became defunct, and the government was able to seize a ton of the Bitcoin coming from that marketplace. So you can see here that Battleborn was a company that had tried to make a claim for those 69,000 Bitcoin, but the United States Supreme Court declined to take on this particular case, and it's basically upholding the appeals court decision that the U.S. government can go ahead and move forward with selling and holding and having that ownership of those 69,000 Bitcoin. So as we can see here, there's obviously a lot to consider when it comes to investing in Bitcoin and any digital assets, particularly anything outside of the top 5 to top 10 cryptocurrencies. You want to make sure you do your research, because as you can see, there are over 2.4 million cryptocurrencies. Most of them are going to go to zero if they're not already. So please make sure you're very careful when you look into investing in this very volatile risk-on asset class. But of course, we're going to keep you posted as we move forward here. Thank you so much for watching us. We're here every week on YouTube. You can check us out on X as well as IG nearly every day. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you, and we look forward to linking up with you on the network chain. Take care. Bye-bye.